Most people, and even some contractors, when they see a leak, they immediately grab the caulk gun. Today, we're going to go investigate a leak and follow the evidence before making a recommendation. One thing we've learned from investigating different leaks is that the water doesn't always show up outside and inside at the same place. So it could be running down the roof under the shingles, under the underlayment, on a rafter, above the drywall, just a lot of different places before it comes inside. So now we're going to head up on the roof and look at the roof first and see what kind of suspects we can find. Now that we're on the roof, we're going to identify the suspects. And of course, our first suspects are going to be the valley. So this valley is a California valley, and we have the shingles running up this side. So there's a huge volume of water here that comes funneling down to this 6 inches. Could be the way this is done. This is actually torn right here. Pretty minor thing, and this is sealed pretty tight. I do notice that the shingles are not hanging out over on this edge, so water can actually siphon back in behind the drip edge and get inside, so that's a potential. But it does look like somebody caulked all of this. That's usually people's first reaction to a roof leak, is whip out the caulk gun. Because there's multiple things going on here, we're gonna recommend a water test as our next step. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now when we're starting to do the water test, what we're doing is we're just going to be spraying water on this first little half below the valley. We want to isolate this flashing right here and see if that's the issue. We'll be spraying water on this for about 15 minutes before we move on up the roof. So we already found the leak, and this one was kind of simple because our first section made the roof leak. So we identified that the leak has to be in these bottom 3 shingles, so that means it has to be a flashing issue right along this edge. But we didn't even get to water testing this up here because we don't need to. We found the leak. So for the repair here, we will have to replace these shingles and fix that flashing there. And to do that, it's gonna tie into the bottom of this valley, which does mean that we're gonna have to replace this entire valley so that we can get those underlayments correct so that we don't create a leak somewhere else. So that one didn't take as long as I expected. So sometimes you have to try one section after another to actually find the leak. They're tricky, but our goal is not to make assumptions, but to follow the evidence. Because the right repair doesn't begin by grabbing a caulk gun, it begins with the right diagnosis. Next stop, better roof.